Hello everyone, welcome back to CyberWise Tech. I'm your host, and if you have been following us, you know we bring you the latest cyber incidents happening right now across the globe. And this week has been absolutely insane. We are talking record breaking DDoS attacks, zero day exploits, ransomware hitting government organizations, and Microsoft vulnerabilities that are actively being weaponized as we speak. In the next few minutes, we are going deep into the top 10 cybersecurity incidents from just last 3 days. And we are not doing the fluff. We are doing it in the style of the common grounds which is being used by the attackers and by the top-notch organizations. That means root cause analysis, impact assessment, security control failures, and most importantly, what you need to do right now to protect your organization. So stick around, hit the subscribe button, and let's dive into the dark side of cyber this December. Let's go. So, incident 1. Let's start with this. Let's start with something absolutely mind blowing. Imagine a tsunami of internet traffic so massive that it makes previous DDoS attacks looks like a light drizzle. We are talking about 29.7 terabits per second hammering a global payment bank. For context, that's like 30,000 gigabytes per second, essentially trying to funnel the entire internet through a single pipe. The attack combined old school IoT botnet traffic with hijacked cloud infrastructure, creating a perfect storm. Now, here is what happened. The bank's payment APIs and web portal started degrading. Customer couldn't process transactions, but, and this is critical, the core banking system stayed online. Why? Because they rerouted the traffic through DDoS mitigation providers. What this tells us: the root cause was simple: vulnerable IoT across networks that should have been hardened, plus infrastructure that wasn't prepared for mega scale attacks. Thousands of printers, cameras, and routers got compromised and turned into weapons. The impact: service disruptions, operational chaos, and trust erosion among customers. A payment bank that can't process payment is basically a bank that doesn't exist. What you need to do right now: get enterprise grade DDoS protection, not the cheap stuff. Multi layer filtering, ISP level cloud scrubbing, on premise protection. Harden every IoT connected device to your network. Seriously change those default passwords. Have a traffic rerouting plan ready. This is critical infrastructure being targeted. If you work in fintech, payment processing, or anything money related, this should scare you into action day. So, picture this: your VPN portal. Right now, probably 7,000 different IP addresses around the world are actively trying to get in, using default credentials, using old passwords from breaches database, so just hammering away. This is happening right now to Palo Alto Global Protect and Sonic Wall VPN systems. Attackers are doing what's called credential spraying, basically trying thousands of username and passwords combo at machine gun speed. Why does this works? Let's understand this. So old unpatched vulnerabilities in VPN softwares, default credentials that were never changed, legacy access policies that allowed unlimited login attempts. It's like leaving your front door unlocked and wondering why someone walked in. The impact: if even one attacker breaks through, they are inside your network. They can move laterally, plant malware, steal data, and deploy ransomware. Remote access is golden ticket for cyber criminals. The scary part: most organizations don't notice until it's too late. These attacks are happening silently in your logs right now. What to do? Enforce multi factor authentication on every VPN portal, not optional. It has to be mandatory. Force password rotation immediately if you haven't done it in 6 months. Run vulnerability scans on your VPN infrastructure this week. Implement geo blocking if your team doesn't need international access. set up aggressive login attempt monitoring and alerting. Honestly, if I looked at your VPN logs right now, I would probably see thousands of failed login attempts. Don't let one succeed. Alright, the third incident is intuitive ransomware attack. This one hits different. Intuitive is a contract research organization. Think pharmaceutical testing facility. They do critical research for drug companies, vaccine development, all of it. Last week, ransomware locked down their entire lab infrastructure. And we are talking about CAD files, research data, employee records, client information, all were encrypted, can't access anything. Here is what happened. Weak network segmentation means the malware jumped from one system to hundreds without any barrier. Their endpoint detection, minimal. Their backup strategy, not isolated from the ransomware systems. When the attacker hit, not only did they encrypt the live systems, they also encrypted the backups. That's the 2024 playbook. Hit everything. Complete infrastructure operational shutdown was there, and the impact extended further. Labs can't function. Pharmaceutical partners face delay in drug trials. Employees' personal data is leaked, and company's reputation is destroyed. Why this matters to you? If you think ransomware only hit large companies, think again. Attackers are specifically targeting contract research organizations, supply chain providers, healthcare facilities, mid-sized organizations that have valuable data but weaker defenses. Critical actions. Implement network segmentation right now. Isolate your critical systems for general workstations. Deploy EDR, endpoint detection and response system across your entire organization. Air gap your backups. Seriously, they should be unreachable from your network. Test your backup restoration monthly. Don't just hope backups work. Create an incident response playbook before you get hit. Have crisis communication ready. Your customers will demand answers. This organization is in recovery mode for months. Don't be them. Alright, incident 4, which is AccuTrans solution data breach. A transportation company, AccuTrans solution, got hit by a threat actor group called Coinbase Cartel. And it's not just ransomware, it's a full blown data theft. Customer data, operational record, transaction details, all exfiltrated. What happened? Weak access control means one attacker got in, they could move around freely. Data loss prevention tools, non existent network monitoring, not detecting the exfiltration happening in real time. The attacker was probably in the system for weeks before anyone noticed the impact. The company now has to notify customer about a data breach. That's regulatory notification, legal liability, potential fraud, people using stolen financial information, and a reputation hit that will take years to recover from. Here is the reality check. If you are a logistic or a transportation company, you are in crosshairs. Your data is valuable. Your infrastructure is critical. You are probably thinking we are too small to be targeted. Wrong. You are exactly the target. Medium sized, valuable data, overworked IT teams, weaker defenses. What to employ today? Data loss prevention tools that prevents sensitive files from leaving your network. Proper access control like least privilege principles, people only access what they need. User behavior analytics to detect abnormal data access patterns. Regular security audits of who has access to what. Data classification, know what's sensitive and protect it accordingly. Customers trust you with their data. If you leak it, they will go somewhere else. Incident 5, B2BE supply chain compromise. This one is a domino effect nightmare. B2BE is a supply chain platform connecting supplier, manufacturer, distributor, retailers. Basically, it's a hub for thousands of business to exchange orders, invoices, and shipment data. Ransomware hits B2BE. Now thousands of connected organizations are affected. It's not just B2BE problem anymore, it cascades across entire supply chain. So what happened? The platform had inadequate vendor security assessment and weak API authentication. An attacker got in, deployed ransomware, and suddenly the entire system supply chain got gridlocked. Retailers can't order in inventory, manufacturers can't get raw materials, distributors are blind. The impact: business interruption, revenue loss, contractual penalties, and every single connected organization suffers. Why this matters? Your supply chain is only as secure as its weakest link. You could have perfect security at your company, but if your supplier gets compromised, you are affected. Full stop. What to do? Implement a vendor risk management program, assess your third party security maturity, require your critical vendors to have SOC 2 Type 2 certification, conduct regular security audits of your supplier infrastructure, use API security scanning tool, never trust integration, have supply chain contingency plans, know your backup supplier, monitor for signs of compromise in your supply chain patterns. This incident shows that cyber risk doesn't stop at your firewall, it extends through your entire ecosystem. Incident 6: Akira ransomware campaign. One threat actor, one gang, multiple attacks in the same week. The Akira ransomware group hit AG Displays, DHK Architects, Carbon Graphics, all in the design and architecture space. And it's coordinated, it's organized, it's professional. What happened? Phishing email, probably weaponized documents or malicious link. Weak endpoint security allowed malware execution, once in lateral movement through the network encrypted, deployed, demands sent. CAD files, the lifeblood of architecture and design firms, are stolen and encrypted. These files are irreplaceable IPs. The impact: competitive disadvantage. If you are an architecture firm and your design for a major projects are stolen, your competitors now have your ideas. Your client's confidential plans are leaked, your reputation is tarnished. Pattern alert: this is not random. Attackers are specifically targeting design firms because your files are extremely valuable IP. You work with deep pocketed clients. Your IT security is usually not as robust as tech companies. Design files are easy to monetize on dark markets. Defense strategy: user awareness training about phishing, make it mandatory and ongoing. Deploy advanced endpoint protection, behavior based detection, not just signature matching. Segment your design system from general network traffic. Implement privileged access management for admin accounts. Threat hunt on your network, look for indicators of compromise. Data classification, mark your IP as critical and protected. If you are in design, manufacturing, or high IP industry, you are being actively hunted, so act accordingly. Incident number 7: government and NGO targeting. This one gets political. La Virgin, Tenisi, and Brahma Kumaris, large NGOs, both hit by ransomware. Dragon Force and Stormers threat groups. We are not talking business impact anymore. We are talking about government services disrupted, public trust eroded, and potentially national security implications. What happened? Legacy systems that government and NGOs still run, no backup, or backup that are useless. Security budgets that are, let's say, minimal. Attackers found easy entry points, deployed ransomware, and suddenly public services stop. The impact: immediate. Government services offline, payroll systems down, and citizen records inaccessible. Regulatory agencies can't function. The long term ones: public trust in government IT is already low, this makes it worse. And from a national security standpoint, if attackers can compromise government infrastructure, what else can they access? Why this matters to India? Government organizations and NGO in India are targets, whether it's state agencies, municipalities, or public utilities. Attackers are actively targeting government infrastructure globally. What needs to happen? Massive modernization of legacy government IT systems, investment in cybersecurity talent and tools, regular disaster recovery drills, not hypothetical, actually practice recovery, incident response plan that are tested and ready, zero tolerance for unpatched system in critical infrastructure, national level cyber coordination and information sharing. This isn't a technical problem you can solve with one tool. This is a systematic issue requiring leadership commitment, budget allocation, and strategic planning. Incident 8, Microsoft Office RCE vulnerabilities. Critical vulnerabilities alert, three of them. Microsoft Office RCE vulnerability CVE 2025, 62554, 62557, and 62562. Remote code execution from a simple Office document that your user can open accidentally. What happened here? Let's understand. So, basically, Microsoft safety flaws in how Office handles macros and attachments. An attacker creates a weaponized Word doc or Excel file. User opens it and boom, attacker has code execution on that machine with the user's privilege. The immediate threat. They are being actively weaponized in phishing campaigns right now. As we speak, attackers are sending Office documents embedded with exploits. The impact: complete endpoint compromise, malware installation, credential theft, data exfiltration, ransomware deployment. Everything flows from that one click. The scary part: most users don't understand document threat. They think opening file is safe. It's not anymore. Immediate action. Do this today. Apply Microsoft's December patch Tuesday security updates immediately. If you can't patch immediately, disable Office macros via group policy. Deploy application whitelisting to prevent unknown executables. Isolate email attachments. Scan them in sandbox environment before user delivery. Email filtering. Block Office document from external sender if possible. EDR on every endpoint to catch post exploitation activity. For your team, communication. Do not open Office document from unknown senders. Show your team actual weaponized document so they understand the threat. Test your security control with simulated phishing. The vulnerability has a 10 by 10 severity rating. Treat it that way. Incident 9, Windows privilege escalations. While Microsoft Office RCE gets the headline, there is another critical vulnerability lurking in Windows itself. CVE 2025 62458, a Win32K privilege escalation. Here is the chain. Attacker gets initial access, but they are executing as a normal user, not enough access. So they use this window kernel vulnerability to escalate to system privileges. What this enables: once once you are the system, you own the machine. Defender bypass, security software disabling, persistent malware installation, lateral movement to other systems. The three chain: Office RCE, initial access as a user, Win32K EOP, system privileges, and network compromise. The impact: if you only protect the first step, attackers will win. Just take one extra step. What to be done? Let's understand this. In these cases, make sure the systems are patched immediately, run privilege access management solutions, monitor for privilege escalation attempts in your logs, implement behavioral monitoring on endpoints, never allow admin rights to standard users, principle of least privilege across your entire infrastructure. This is why layered security matters. You need multiple barriers, not just one. Incident 10, GitHub Copilot RCE. Here is where it gets interesting. GitHub Copilot JetBrains plugin, a developer tool, and it has a remote code execution vulnerability. CVE 2025-64671, command injection through the Copilot MCP server. What does that mean? It means an attacker can trick Copilot into executing commands on a developer's machine. How it works: Dev is using Copilot to write code. Copilot gets a prompt injection attack embedded in a code comment or file. Copilot blindly executes it. Code runs with developer privileges. The impact: developer machines are gold. You have source code repositories, API keys and secrets, database credentials, customer data, and deployment pipelines. If an attacker compromises a developer machine, they own your entire supply chain. Why this is dangerous? Developer trust their tools. We don't expect our ID plugin to be an attack vector, but it is. What to implement? Update your Copilot plugin immediately. Disable auto approve for terminal execution. Isolate developer workstation from production networks. Implement secret management. Don't store credential in code. Workspace isolation. Sandbox development environments. SBOM, software bill of materials scanning in your CI/CD pipeline. The bigger picture: AI tools are amazing, but they are also attack vectors. As we integrate more AI into our workflows, we need to think about threat model differently. Now let's understand the key metrics and risk summary. Let's take a breath and look at what we just covered. In 72 hours, what we saw: six critical incidents. They are stop everything and fix now level threats. Four high incidents. They are implement immediately level risks. And the attack vectors, we are seeing five major attack types like ransomware, DDoS attacks, credential attacks, supply chain attacks, and vulnerability exploitation. The sectors being hit: financial institution, healthcare and research, government and NGOs, manufacturing and design, logistic and supply chain, tech companies and development teams. Basically, every sector is under attack, no exception. What this tells us: attackers are diversifying, they are hitting larger targets, they are not picking one strategy, they are using whatever works. The takeaway here is, if you are waiting for the perfect time to invest in cybersecurity, stop. That time was 5 years ago. The second best time is right now. The snapshot which we just see shows the reality. Cyber threats are constant, diverse, and actively targeting your organization. So, what do we do about all this? Here is the strategic framework you need. This week, plan some immediate action like patch critical Office and Windows vulnerability. Don't wait for testing cycles. Enable MFA or every remote access on every remote access system. Audit the data loss prevention controls. Are they even actually working to prevent any data loss? Check your backup systems. Are they isolated and tested? If you're not sure, they are not. For this month, plan to do some detection enhancement. Deploy EDR if you already have not. Implement network segmentation. Isolate critical system for general network traffic. Get threat intelligence feeds integrated into security stack. Conduct vulnerability scanning on your entire infrastructure. In the next 90 days, try to run the incident response drill. Document your incident response playbook for different scenarios. Verify the backup recovery procedures. Build crisis communication plans. Know that you will say to customer when an incident happens. Try to do systematic investment. SIM, SIEM, and SOAR platforms for centralized logging and automated response. vCISO services if you don't have a fully functional security team. Supply chain risk management program to protect your third party dependencies. Security awareness training that actually sticks. The investment conversation. I know what you are thinking. This is expensive. And yes, what Do you know what's more expensive? A ransomware attack that locks down your systems for weeks, a data breach that exposes customer data, supply chain incident that cascades across your partners. The ROI on cybersecurity isn't just about preventing incidents, it's about surviving them faster and cheaper. So, coming to the closure of the video, we have gone through 10 incidents which happened in the last 3 days. Here is what I want you to remember: the bad news. Threats are constant, diverse, and getting more sophisticated. And the good news: you can defend against them. It requires investment, attention, and strategy, but it's absolutely doable. Thank you so much for watching this video.